Finality, the fourth barrier. By Sonic Dirtboom. I see you, and I know you can see me. I don't mean to say that in a weird way, but it's true. We can observe each other to no end. We can eternally pretend to personally know each other, but the situation will always remain the same. We cannot touch, meet, or even converse within the walls of our own respective realities. We can only observe. You have seen me do everything I do for the past 2 years, while I can only see upon you observing me. You can see me play, eat, converse with my friends, party, and all else as much as you want. I can only throw you an occasional glance or stare. If I do anything more, it would be pointless. No matter how close I get to you, there will always be a barrier in the way. Not just a barrier, the barrier. You and your friends have come to refer to it as the fourth wall. It is not a wall. A wall can be broken, leaving a hole to pass through. A barrier is a much better description for this. A barrier, while it can be broken, will remain more persistent. A barrier doesn't have to be physical. It's much stronger when used in a metaphorical context, such as this. I've come to refer to the shield that prevents us from meeting as the fourth barrier. I am the only one around who can physically see through it. I am the sole being who can gaze between mine and your sides of the wall. Whenever I do so, my friends, my fellow elements, tell me that I'm looking at nothing. They say that I'm staring into space and that the fourth barrier is not real. They finally pass it off as my usual Pinkie Pie ways. They are wrong. I know I can gaze at you, just as you can gaze at me. Our eyes can connect. I may say something along the lines of a quote or a single sentence, and even in doing that, I feel pointless. I can throw you glances, I can try to communicate with you, but in the end, it will all come together as it usually does. I'll continue on my way, as will you. This dreaded barrier is that prevents you and me from truly connecting. I've tried to breach it. I've tried to break through it. I've tried my hardest to force my way onto your side of the barrier, and it never works. I'm always pulled back to my own reality. The closest I ever came, and I will never forget it, was in Appaloosa. Me and my friends have just recently solved a major problem between the two kinds that inhabited the city. It was a very eventful day, through and through. The most dynamic moment of it, however, was near the end. After every pony had went on their way, I seized my opportunity. I jumped to my usual position for this fourth wall breaking, as you call it, and leap into that black void that only I can see. The one that slowly closes in a strange circular pattern every now and again. As I jumped through, I heard a voice utter something. I can't quite remember what it was. I used this as a jump start. As I breached that closing hole, I let out the first thing that came to mind. "Hey, that's what I said!" I could feel it. I was almost through. Half of my figure had escaped. I felt as if I was finally going to feel your embrace. However, I suddenly felt as if I was being pulled by my tail. I tried as hard as I could to pull myself through, to be with you, but I failed. And in the end, my hardest was not enough. I was pulled back in my own reality by that unknown force. And there I was, sitting there. I had just failed at my closest attempt at a personal encounter to you. I never wanted to try again. Yet, at the same time, I felt as though I could. I felt as though I just discovered the formula for breaching that insipid boundary. I've not tried it again. Not out of fear of injury, but out of fear of failure. I feel as if each time I try, I've failed myself, failed my mission, and I've failed you. I just hope that you can look upon my failure with laughter, not realizing it as a failure, and thus letting ignorance of the situation continue, taking its bliss upon you. I feel as though time is running out. I feel as if this, which has basically become nothing more than a nonsense rant about reality, must be cut short. I do not wish for it to be. This is the first genuine time that I may have been able to get a message out to you. The first and the last. I know that all good things must come to an end, and all that, but I wish for this time to last forever. I wish for this brief period in which I can fully voice my thoughts, this almost deranged situation to never end, and yet I know it must. So, listen to me. If you're out there, if you can see me, if you can hear me speak and see my movements, then please, Give me some way of knowing. I desire to fully know whether you feel the same about the situation as I do. Please! I have no way, besides what I'm doing right now, to alert you. I hope that you have some way of making me aware of your feelings. I can now feel that force again. It's trying to pull me back into my own reality, just as it did that day in Appaloosa. It governs the fourth barrier. It prevents us from being together. Just remember what I said. If you can, if it's within your power, give me a sign. A way of knowing that you've been listening this whole time. She can break it, but she can't break through it. The end.